I started writing in the Heights when I was 19 years old. You know, there was a couple of years when it was just in a drawer and I was just finishing college. But I basically worked on it from the moment I graduated. I worked on that initial draft with Tommy Kail and Kiara Hudes, who came on board in 2004, and our music arrangers, Alex Lackmore and Bill Sherman, all the way up until 2007, where we opened off Broadway, ran for 7 months, and then opened on Broadway the next year. I mean, you know, picture who you are as an adult versus who you were as a teenager. That's how different these In the Heightses were. It was the same set of characters, Nina and Benny all existed, but it was a totally different storyline. And I think what happened through my collaboration with Tommy, Kiara, and the rest of the creative team, was it went from being a story set in Washington Heights to a story about a community, and really a community on the cusp of change. And so the sort of larger themes and stuff sort of came out as we all worked together. And I cut more than 60 songs on that road, and we cut major characters and added others. But you know, it's an original story. So we were finding our characters, our story, and our musical language all at the same time. Well, you know, the secret of the show, and I think the secret of the success of the show, is that it's really an old-fashioned musical with a new musical language. You know, once upon a time, popular music and musical theater were friends, and you would go to the theater to hear the songs you heard on the radio, sung live. They were one and the same, and you know, that was important to me. It was, if you're writing about Washington Heights, your show should sound like Washington Heights. And so I wanted to really use the music I grew up with in that neighborhood to tell that story. So it's about using a lot of different musical forms as the language of these characters. In a lot of ways, my role in Merrily was even more autobiographical than my role in the Heights. I'm playing a lyricist, which is something I know a little bit about. But there's a line I say in the show where I'm singing for a potential Broadway producer, and it goes, "They're always popping their cork. I'll fix that line." And he says, "I'll fix that line" as an aside. I always took the aside to my collaborator Franklin, and Steve was very specific. You're supposed to be taking that aside to the producer, and to me that made no sense, because as someone who has done many backers auditions for many producers, I would always present a unified front to the producer. I would never tell them I had to fix a line. And I told that to Steve, and he said, that never would have occurred to me, because my producer was Hal, and he was the producer and the director. So of course I would say, I'd fix that line too. So there are little moments like that where sort of my knowledge of the world and his, you know, it was a really fun, you know, thing to talk about. Hi, this is Lin-Manuel Miranda. Come see In the Heights at the AT&T Performing Arts Center, the Winspear Opera House, 13th through 25th. Blah, blah.